Just before we started, Neil was like, "We're gonna die," which is very appropriate. Hey, hello, welcome to Stars Without Number, Ardent, the show that exists and is on every week.
It's been really good. Don't you bum down my show?
Oh, it's just that I am often asleep during it.
I've had some seriously good feels with this show.
This show brings.
When Wednesday was your prime time show.
I don't remember what.
Now you have these Sunday.
What would be a good comparison, Neil, of like a sci-fi show that brings like serious feels? I don't know. I guess The Expanse has some feels.
The Expanse actually did a really good job of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're definitely a.
I kind of season 2. I was a bit desensitized to it, and I kind of wanted someone to just shoot Holden, you know.
We haven't seen season 3 yet in the UK. Is the thing.
Oh really?
Scott.
Oh, sorry.
It's a Netflix show in the UK, and
Holden,
of course it's not going to be on Netflix now.
Holden's just one of those characters where you just like.
Holden is run by the... So that was a Stars Number show. Holden is the big name streamer who's on the show that can't be kicked out because the stream would die, but is a bit of a bother.
He is. I'm sorry, but like he is the most emo character. Yeah. Like it's literally, and they're just like, you know, ratings have dipped a little. Let's just make him even more emo. A little more makeup, a little more downward-looking angles with some uplighting. Yeah, that's it. He looks like a skeleton now. No, not a zombie. A fucking skeleton. Let's just keep going. God.
See, at least I only look like a skeleton. So, I got that going for me.
You were born that way.
Yeah. No, if nothing else, if we're gonna go for like undead things, you look like a undead flesh worm.
I look like a ghoul. We've been over this.
Just pale and smooth, and you just wiggle about.
All right. So this show.
He's like, all right, I'm done.
It's a perfect. You know, that's the perfect place to continue. So what happened last week is that you actually went to the Novus system, but not to the planet of Novus. Novus is the central system of the planetary governments that Pike is trying to leave. Whole plot's all related. You're on a mining planet named Pungal, particularly Station 52, but you are looking for mercenaries, bounty hunters, any link towards the Excalibur terrorist plot, essentially. And you find out that there is a secret club of mercenaries and terrorists and things. You know, a lot of shows have that, you know, mercenary club. There's the old one in John Wick and stuff like that. So imagine that sort of thing. You did a whole bunch of research there, trying to find out who big players are, and realized that there are Excalibur people there, and your plan was to find out what the next Excalibur plan was from them, because you know there is something big gonna go down. You just don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. The whole reason of going here was to try and find out what that was, because you know that the mercenary known as Rich Girl came here first to get a job from them, and that's why you were here. While you were here, Prov actually kind of, because he's not known to be part of your crew, snuck in with the Excalibur people and kind of made a couple of names, made a couple of friends, and also got the ire of a big, enhanced woman with a minigun. And where this stream is going to start snap bangus is Scott's character, Davis, was actually snooping on her and said something trying to be clever. Yes, Mr. Neil? You're over there.
Can we have the smiley cat in the empty face?
No, that would be a bit tonally dissonant.
Okay, but later on if the tone changes.
I may do smiley cat.
I'm sorry, Scott.
You're fine.
I like smiley cat. We all like smiley cat here.
It's a real good vibe.
So Davis was like, I'm gonna be clever. I saw you using a Novus military line. When did you serve? And like, I never served. You were spying on me. Like, ha. Oh no. She walked out with you to the surface of this city while threatening you with the minigun, but you're like, I'm in melee range. I'm in no threat. Where Prov sent the Excalibur people to go and essentially help him. I think Neil liked that recap quite a bit.
Maybe a little too much? I don't know.
I had the image of literally Scott uniform, walk up to this woman and say, "I see you using a Novus line," and she goes, "I've never been in the Novus military," and it like turns back to him, and it's just him, but with that cat's smile, just like.
You love that meme, don't you?
Oh no! You know what? Good aside, I like it. But Prov brought the Excalibur people over to this big bitch with the minigun, and pretty much as the minigun was warming up, that's where last session ended. And also Prov just managed to do a successful, assumingly successful, sneak check to get the hell out of there. And also Rain is nearby, but not immediately there.
Oh, I failed.
So...
I believe. I rolled a 7 and I failed, and she turned the minigun on me.
No, she didn't turn a minigun on you. She turned a minigun to, like, the crowd. You're kind of still in that crowd. You're just slinking away.
I'm sure she spotted me.
I don't believe so. So if she did, then you got
I'm pretty sure she turned the... Well, I don't know if she spotted you specifically, but she definitely turned her minigun in the entire crowd that you were a part of.
You are in a crowd of, like, 3 Excalibur people and you, and she's turned the minigun on the whole crowd. And depending on your following initiative roll, which is
surprised the DM's correct
on screen, you may be able to get out of dodge. So why don't you all give me initiative rolls? I
need to hide the turn order.
Yeah, no, it's always on Ian, because Ian's always down here. Because that's where all the things appear.
Because Ian needs to take the initiative.
Guys, hold on. Were you wiping the turn order or no?
I was going to, yes.
Yeah,
sorry.
so I was gonna wait.
Lads. Oh,
I heard him yell at people on Sunday, and I was like, I'm gonna start being the last person.
Oh, you know what? That is smart.
I waited for Neil, and then I saw Neil go. I was like, I'm going.
Listen, I listen to about half of Sunday's session every week, and I have to say, Tesh is like the most olirific PC so far. Like he like molded to Ollie's style like instantly.
Tesh
and I was like,
is
wow.
He
knows
a happy
all the
puppy
Ollie
of a
automate.
person, and I like that.
Huh? What was it?
Tesh is a happy puppy of a person.
He's just a really cool dude. He's really fun to listen to, and once again, like it's just like his PC style, your DM style, like mesh perfectly. It's good.
Scott, why don't you go ahead and roll me an initiative? I will now roll some initiatives too.
I'm feeling jealous now.
I rolled d20s. I'm out of it. Here we go. Okay, you are actually in a bit of a good situation.
Neil, I'm sorry. I just want to explain this to you. Like Ollie loves chocolate ice cream, and he will always have a place in his heart for chocolate ice cream.
Don't say
every once in a while, he needs that Neapolitan. You know what I mean? And,
I mean, come on. Surely he loves.
But Tesh has a little bit of all of his favorites, all in just one little beautiful package.
I would have gone for me being the Neil.
Oh no.
Because like
I was actually assuming there was a Neapolitan pun there going on. And I'm kind of sad
I was like, come on, dude, that
was so easy.
No.
That hurts, Scott. It's fine. Whenever I get sad now, I just watch this clip I've got of Scott saying Neil is godly at RP. Neil is godly at RP, and I just sit there on repeat, just like.
So, with this initiative roll, let me set the scene for you again, team.
Please.
You are in this station. It is a orbital station around a gas giant. So while it is sort of a town, like the area you're in is near the dock, so it's mostly empty space, although towards the area where Neil and Rain are, Rain you're even further back, are
Neil
sort of
Rain.
Close enough. Are actual sort of like buildings that go up to the top layer. You know, there's probably 2 or so stories of space up there. And quite far back, there's an area of a tree where Rain played some music before and completely failed. There is the woman with the minigun who's turned it, and the minigun is warming up. And she's easily carrying it. She's a huge woman who stands very tall above the rest of you. She's warming up, spinning at the group of Excalibur people. One of them is Prov. Rain, you actually explicitly like take a perch in a place where you could see all of this. You're like down an alleyway where you can see all of this going on quite clearly. Maybe would have taken you a couple of moments to see Prov in there, because his outfit kind of blends in with them because they all wear that same sort of like spacer junker kind of deal. But you can all quite clearly see Davis over there in melee range with the enemy. And also, Scott, you know what's just funny? I just got an email about, hey, you know, Magic the Gathering Arena is entering open beta next week. Isn't that funny?
Did they make their announcement live yet?
I mean, I just got an email about it.
No, they didn't.
I'll check Twitter later. But go ahead.
I got an email on my like full not my work email, my like personal email.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Chat later.
That is Rain. Your turn. You are. Well, let me check the range of this.
Can I just remind you, in case, because I don't think I heard this detail. You said a melee range, but I believe I actually attacked at her and flubbed hard.
Yeah.
Did I just rolling up?
I think so.
Where's my attack roll? Or did we wait save for this session? Because I see a prob.
You either attacked her flubbed up, or you explicitly didn't take your attack yet to wait to see what the others would do. Because I think you might have wanted to see what would happen when these two people clashed. But either way, you didn't attack. You didn't deal damage to her yet.
I remembered attacking and flubbing hard, but I must have been wrong because because I don't see the roll on here.
I think you.
I don't see the roll
waited.
either.
I think you waited.
had.
Okay, I'll wait. Cool.
You rolled initiative, and I rolled sneak, and that was like combat start.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you were like, I'm gonna wait, and that's where we decided to end the session. So Rain, over there, down here.
That's right. I'm sorry, Ollie. I keep distracting. At the end of last session, you had us roll initiative. And it was like one of those, Scott, you can roll initiative to see if you can attack from behind, but I rolled a 4 and she rolled much higher.
That was it.
So my total is actually a 4. I don't care if it's a 3. It's no difference to me, but that's how so she just like crushed initiative compared to me.
I was just like re-roll initiative for this one. Maybe give you a chance to do better.
I just wanted to remember how I failed.
I think that's entirely fine.
Sorry.
Rain.
One can only learn.
Okay, so what's my distance from her?
I am just looking that up, but essentially, you are definitely within your gun range. I'm just looking that up.
Yeah, 100, 300.
Oh, yeah, you are absolutely within 100 meters. You're probably around 30 meters away because you deliberately wanted to be somewhere you could see all this happening. You knew that he was being dragged outside.
Makes
so
sense.
you're pretty much on the far side, down quite a ways away.
She's getting ready. She's minigun's warming up. At a glance, Scott, does Davis look like he's assuming combat stance?
If you, Ollie, I mean, I imagine he's getting ready to attack, so I don't know how obvious that would be. Because Davis isn't exactly the stealthy, subtle type, so it's up to you for how much people notice that.
I think you fought with each other enough to be able to sort of tell each other's tells.
Sure.
Then Then I am taking a shot at the woman with the old combat rifle, which might even. Oh, there we go. That's what I need.
Are you going to burst fire or no?
I am going to burst.
Yeah. Remember, bursting adds damage and to hit chance at the cost of more ammo. Ooh.
I mean, that's one of your better rolls you've ever made.
Yeah, that could be good.
Ever.
In her stats.
Not to rub it in.
I don't know. I think a 14 is pushing it. If she's a big old tough lass, I don't know.
That is not a hit.
Damn it!
Sorry, sir.
She's wearing like actual armor comparable to Scott's actually.
Yeah. Makes sense because of how you described her. Yeah, makes sense. Cool.
She's full military personnel, but not aligned to anyone, it seems. Well, aside from.
Yeah, so Rain's just like, guess we're finding. Boom.
Yeah, and it's one of the things, like the burst of bullets, like some of them actually do hit her body armor, but it's just the sort of advanced body armor available in this space age where it just takes the bullet with just a slight stagger. And next up is actually, so curiously enough, it is the Excalibur people before her, which was not what I expected to happen at all.
Okay. I'll take that win.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? She might not even get to shoot the minigun.
Oh, I thought she was going to open up and light them all up. Light them up, son.
No, because next up, they're within
They're within running range.
the group of Excalibur individuals, they are going to run up. And remember, the leader of them has a sword, like a literal metal sword, and just starts running up, and he does this thing where he drags the sword against the ground, and it's a metal ground, so it starts to spark, which kind of actually catches her off guard slightly. Like, she kind of is distracted by that very strange maneuver enough that he can actually go and take a swing on it. Unfortunately, he rolled a 3. So,
ouch.
He does nothing but shock damage. Unfortunately,
shock damage though.
But actually, I need to check. She might be beyond the shock damage because this is not an advanced melee weapon. This is just a metal sword. But this book is really big and all over the place, and
it will be then if it's an advanced armor.
It's not advanced, but no. So, shock damage is versus different types of AC. She has too much AC to take shock damage from this attack. So it's one of those things. He goes up with the sword. The other two are going to move up slightly, but they have pistolas, so they are going to shoot at her as well. And they literally sort of yell at Davis, like, "Hey brother, get out of here, this isn't your fight," and they shoot. And actually both of them hit. Mm-hmm. They're credit to team. Why aren't they this good when they're fighting you? Wait a minute, they were. There's
I think
a reason
we're just gonna have to switch sides.
Oh my god. And they actually both bullets hit. One hits the area where the rain already caused the armor to be slightly damaged. You just see a sort of explosion of blood come out. Another hits her in the arm, and she's still warming up the minigun, but at this point the guy's in melee, so she kind of just is like shifting and moving it to be more of a battering ram kind of weapon than a stand and shoot kind of weapon.
It's kind of like how she was like nudging me with it earlier.
Yeah. Next up
like,
is you, Davis.
All right, so obviously, like her attention isn't on me, thank God. So I'm gonna try to take the opportunity. There's my character sheet. It popped out. So take the opportunity to attack her from behind. I was going to knife her. No, I pulled up my pistol. I was going to try to shoot her in the back of the head.
You could also knife her, I suppose. I mean, I think you're better at shooting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, because I still have the pistol out, I don't want to use the combat rifle in melee.
Yeah, but your character explicitly has the foci that lets you shoot in melee with pistols without any penalties. So.
Yep, which is why I'm going to do that. So staying behind her, I'm going to take that shot. Just making sure there's no other anythings in the way.
No, you don't have any disadvantages or anything like that.
Cool.
Or disadvantage, you don't have any negatives or anything.
Cool.
She's distracted, but not distracted enough to give you a penalty or a buff.
Okay, then firing. Oh, come on!
It's one of those things where as you aim to fire, this sort of brawl between these two gang members is there's too much motion in it. I mean, this guy actually seemingly, none of you know how to use a sword other than Prov, seemingly does kind of know what he's doing and is moving very quickly to swing at you in all the swing at her, and she's just kind of being like the big tough, like. You're kind like, okay, you don't want the Excalibur people to live as much as anyone else, but you will totally blow your spot if you accidentally shoot him in the head instead of her. So, one of those things where you take a shot too wide, wasn't gonna hit.
No random passers-by?
There's actually nearly no one around right now.
Oh, thank God, okay. Because there was a sparse area before.
You are in like a loading dock of a ship that's not here. So there's nearly no one here, but now that like bullets have started to fly, you can already hear like alarms starting to blare. It's typical security alarms. Being a Novus build machine, you actually recognize that alarm. You've heard it many times before.
Awesome.
Prov. Now this is up to you whether you want to continue sneaking away or not. You are still kind of with the two of the other Excalibur members who are shooting at it. It's kind of up to you.
I mean, we're like proper mobbing her right now.
She is actually like bleeding heavily. She like the color is starting to go from her face.
Does she not have any goons with her?
No. Well, she did, but they didn't come with her.
Yeah,
she was acting with the security personnel who may be coming. You don't know.
So I was excited I remembered, so I was talking over you.
Yeah, she had 2 of the security personnel on her side, but they're not here right now. Sort of let the boss speak to him kind of moment.
Okay, I will close the distance. Draw. Oh wait, no, because I'd need to draw a weapon, which is like a full action, isn't it?
I believe drawing a weapon is either your move or your action, depending on which one you haven't used. So yeah, to actually do an attack, you can't do this time.
I will sneak.
You're just gonna try and hide.
Drift into the shadows.
Yeah, give me a stealth check, a sneak check. Stealth is just a better word than sneak. I'm sorry. That's a good roll though. Actually, I will immediately do checks for them. Just see, like for both the woman, who probably isn't going to live very long, and the Excalibur members. Okay, cool. So next up is the woman herself, who is now just being mobbed. She kind of turned, like, you can tell, Davis, that her intended target is still you. But ultimately, she can't get to you right now, really. She's got this guy with a sword who's much bigger threat. I'm just briefly checking what the damage is for an improvised weapon. There is a mechanic for it. Rifle
for
size
clubbing
guns
up.
is a medium. So this would actually be a large size primitive weapon. Ho ho ho. She's gonna try and bash this boy.
Incoming minigun's gonna break.
Yeah, this is good. I am excited to describe this. So, what she does is she's sort of like bashing at this guy with the sword with like the whole brunt of this minigun. And this is a huge thing that's probably designed to be mounted, but she's carrying it and she's got this like strap all over her, and as she moves there's a slight mechanical wearing. She's most likely got some kind of implants. She's bashes the guy enough to like properly wind him and just presses the barrel to his chest as he's winded, and that's when it's been spinning this whole time, ripping at his clothing. And that's when she just pulls down the trigger and just a spray of minigun bullets just goes through his stomach and just creates a little hole in the middle of this guy, who just kind of flops back down onto the ground.
I'm glad it's been 2 weeks and I forgot that guy's name.
Blood.
I don't feel guilty.
That's intense. That's a big one. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But that's terrifying. She just murdered a man in melee combat.
Yeah.
With a gun.
With a gun. Yep.
One shot.
As it was like spinning and shit like that, too, like ripping at him, and yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
it's horrifying. But now it's Rain's turn. Actually, at the top of initiative, allow me to roll another initiative.
Oh dear.
Thank you. I'm just
I
gonna
reminded Ollie about the security.
You did. But I don't have another token. So. Well, I knew they were there. They were coming.
You forgot. Don't lie.
So
It would have taken me a longer time to remember.
onto an action. I glance behind me. Is there somewhere like within 100 meters behind me, away from public eyes, a gaze of anyone that I would be able to hide in?
So there'd be multiple places to hide. Ultimately, you're in a town, right? It is in a station, but it's a town. An obvious place to hide, although it's not the best idea, but as Rain, you could decide whether Rain would think it's a good idea, is the secret tunnel that goes down to the club. It goes to an underground sort of loop network under the whole system. That's a good... You could easily run there in a turn or two. But also, you could hide in doorways, you could hide in alleyways, you could just hide, like... you could hide anywhere. If you want to try and hide, you can run and hide.
With the alarm going off, I don't really want to get mixed up with any security forces. So, what I am going to do, I am going to take another shot, just see if I can take her out.
Mm-hmm. And then use your next turn to start running.
This specifically why I'm asking. There's no eyes on me at the moment, right?
So, luckily for you, this whole fight not only is going on in a fairly underpopulated area,
and I'm in an
it's
alley,
ship time night.
Yeah.
So there's not very people around anyway. You don't currently feel eyes on you.
Okay.
But you're in a place where eyes might be on you soon.
Yeah, specific because I'm specifically thinking about taking a shot and then teleporting as far away as I can, so that I'm away when the security forces are.
I think that's entirely reasonable.
Okay, let's see if I can hit.
Come on, sir.
That is definitely a
It's
hit.
actually
So,
okay.
as she's doing this horrible freaking execution on this Excalibur guy, you just managed to actually aim up a shot and do a quick burst fire, and the bullets just bang on into the melon. She falls with a large thunk. The weapon doesn't keep firing, but is still spinning like red hot, and then starts to slow down.
Before she's even hit the ground, I just glance behind me, blink as far away as possible to somewhere that I can see that looks like a decent place to hide.
Absolutely, and because of the kind of layout of this kind of station, you could go really far in an alleyway. You could even go up a level into like you could go so far. So
Yeah, I'd probably go like upper level and away as far as I can.
Okay. You might have to still do like stealth rolls later on,
no,
but
of course,
that
that's
you'll
fine.
have a huge advantage. Next up is the Excalibur guys, who are their leader's dead, and they kind of look to each other like, okay. And that's when there's the sort of stop. What are you? And like the security are coming up in their sort of ivory white armor with slight blue accents, pointing their guns and their flashlights at these guys, and they immediately, almost instinctively, start turning and firing, starting what is basically a little gang war in the streets.
Awesome.
And,
Actually makes the thing I was going to do next much easier, so that makes me happy.
Yep, and they don't hit. So
Scott
next up,
picks up the minigun, spins it up, and just sprays down everyone in the long corridor.
Davis cannot
Wow.
pick up that minigun. Well, he could try and do a roll to pick up
my
the
strength's
minigun.
an 11.
You cannot use that minigun.
Yeah, yeah.
You could mount it.
I could hold it.
Okay. So
I don't like the sound of that.
no, because the security forces are fighting the Excalibur people. So you're kind of just around this battle that's going on. They turn and start. So the security forces are coming up from this from the secret tunnel, right? I didn't mention that. But you could hear them yelling as they're coming up. There's two of them. They're the two that we've heard before. The alarm is still going off, so there's probably going to be more. But the Excalibur people start shooting back with their little pistols. These guys have rifles. They shoot back. One of the Excaliburs falls. One of them is still fighting, but actually has to do a morale check, and most likely will not succeed. Morale score. Do you have to get above or below morale?
Equal it, just like everything else. So if your morale score is, say, a 10, which that degrades as
You need
things
to get
go.
10 or higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm lost in this goddamn book.
Face.
I learned, I don't know if this helps you at all, Ollie, but I learned about morale over where all the NPCs are. That's kind of like where...
No, it is. It's just my little tag for where the NPCs are is slightly off
Gotcha.
for some
gotcha.
reason. He actually does pass his morale score.
Oh, really?
Okay.
You should have run.
Well, that doesn't mean he's not going to run. It just means he's going to keep his nerve, right?
Yep.
So, Davis, what do you want to do? This whole fight's sort of going on around you.
There's two more of those guys, right?
The security forces are two more. The Excalibur guys, there's only one more because one just got freaking shot down.
Gotcha. Okay, my apologies. So I was already going to turn because they didn't know who I was anyways and open fire on the Excalibur guys. The security forces just make me look like a good guy that's aiding them, so yay on that one.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to switch the weapon that I'm holding. So I'm gonna, rush and grab some cover wherever's about me. I want to grab some cover so I actually have a bit of cover from the security forces so that they don't immediately just like open fire on me afterwards because I got a gun. Rush over, take aim, and fire at the remaining Excalibur person.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not embarrass myself. So
There's no way you'll embarrass yourself.
You can do it, Scott. I believe in you.
That's actually a hit against them.
Yeah.
They
Awesome.
haven't got enough
But the
armor.
damage was embarrassing.
The
I
damage.
mean, it's
was-
whopping 2, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So
That's okay. It's the fact that I clip them.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
exactly. You're involved in the fight now, which is a good thing for your point of view.
Yep.
Prov,
your hit points.
you are actually in the surrounding area. Unlike Rain, who's just gone completely out of there. You are in the surrounding area, probably in the sort of places where they're storing, crates that are meant to be moved and cargo lifters and stuff. Easy enough to hide a chunky body like yours in a place like that.
Describe me one more time.
I would describe you as chunky.
Wow.
Donkey boy.
I think I'll just continue hiding, to be honest.
Yep, I think that's entirely fine.
I see no reason to hop out of combat, hop out into combat, and I will just
Alright.
sidle slightly further back into my hidey hole.
With that state of affairs, let me just do some quick round attack for that Excalibur person. Oh, I actually do get a hit. Oh, good.
Kills the security guard. I want
The
that.
security guards then finish off the Excalibur person, just raining bullets upon him, and then they start walking out of the tunnel. They were kind of on the stairs of it. They're walking out. They've got flashlights on their guns that they're pointing around, and they're sort of, as stormtroopers often do, sort of like, shh, what? Do you see any more of them? Shh, that sort of thing. And they turn their flashlights over to Davis, and one, like, pseudo pointed is like, found one. And it was like, he was firing on them. He's on our side, and will then
I'll-
walk up to you.
I'll do like the typical, my finger's not on the trigger, it's lying along the barrel next to it, and my hand is held out wide so they can obviously see that both hands are raised in the air. The hand that's holding the gun is slightly, revealed to them, and the other one behind my back, behind my head, so clearly submitting.
Yeah, you kind of know the correct way to go about these things, and because
As they
of
approach,
that,
I'd even go so far as to, my apologies, as to slowly place my gun on the ground unless they seem to react negatively to that.
no,
So-
you do, and because of that, when they walk over, it's not like they don't stop checking the scene. They continue checking the scene a bit, but they never find Prov. They will then walk up to you. One of them is kind of has a head on the side of their helmet, and is. You can hear them muttering because the helmets aren't so airtight that you can't hear the person under the mask. They don't need to be airtight, but you assume he's probably saying, situation's over. Over the next couple of minutes, the alarms actually do finish. They stop, which is good because they're annoying. You've always hated that noise. The one walks over to you and kind of lowers the weapon that they're holding and turns off the flashlight and is like, "You're gonna have to explain yourself."
I'll nod and say, so I'm just trying to get my own story together.
Oh yeah, fair.
I nod and I say to him, she was working with another government, a spy of the. So we're currently in the Novus.
You're currently in Novus, so.
So we're currently in Novus. We're technically working for Pike. So
Yes.
we're
Now,
against those
so
two.
you remember, she actually was working for Novus.
Correct. Yeah. So I just remembered
Yeah.
that. So that's why I stopped and looked at the map. So I was making sure I wasn't in the wrong
She was
place.
working for. So as far as you know, from what you know, because this happened very recently for Davis, she was working for a petty officer in the Novus military, so below your rank. And had some interest in Prov, and actually showed you a video of Prov murdering a dude. But you don't really know any more than that. So anything you'd say is that along those lines might be fabrication, but that's fine.
So I say, so I actually will show my credentials. Like, so again, moving slowly. Like, may I show my credentials?
Yeah. He'll
I show my credentials, and I say, I noticed her contacting someone within the Novus military, and I confronted her about it because this is not a place where her actions did not align with what her actions here did not align with what her position was. So I confronted her about the whole situation, and she immediately got hostile. I believe she wasn't, in fact, a member of the military. She was actually a spy against the Novus. And once again, I show them my credentials so they could see my thing. Honestly, it's like a hard flub that's both out of game and in game, because my character's not good at lying.
No, exactly. I do want you then to make me a talk charisma check. Don't
Sure,
think there's a specific thing for lying in the system.
Okay.
I'm just checking. I don't think there is.
No, it's fine. There is, so it would be talk charisma. I don't mind even taking a penalty to that, like a -1 or something. Like,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I think that's entirely reasonable.
Because
Got Scott's like, I am ready to die.
No, not by any stretch. But I just honestly, I feel as though for even Davis, that was like such a hard.
It's one of
like,
those things. And
combat
instead of I
demise.
was going to give them a +1, so might as well you take a -1 instead. Is
Roll it.
same beans, right?
So,
Them's the beans.
So, Prov, you actually can clearly see this. Rain is too far away to clearly see, but you know, it might even be making her way back to the ship.
Yeah, Rain would be immediately heading back to the ship, I think.
You know, scatter protocol, right? You say that. You can't see their facial expressions behind the mask. It's glossy enough that you can't see anything in the sort of faceplate. They kind of raise they got, you know, the arm data pad that is not as powerful as a regular data pad, but enough to check things.
Yep.
What you say, they nod. They, gonna have to take you aside, sir.
I nod, and not only do I because I placed my gun down before, so I don't pick it up or anything like that. I'll actually immediately take off my combat rifle and hand it to them as well. I have other weapons on me too, but I don't go out of my way of.
Those are the ones on display.
Yeah, exactly. Like
The
I have
other ones
grenades,
might be in a
but-
bag or
or a knife, but I don't think they're worried about that stuff.
Saves
No,
were done. I just succeeded on my dex saving throw, courtesy of the wind.
It is very windy today, and he lives near enough me to be affected by the same wind as me. It is
Like, you
very
know,
windy.
The same.
It is
country.
really fucking windy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, he will take that rifle, hand it to the other guard, who will then start pointing you and moving you in a direction. It's not like they push the guns into you or anything, but they start moving down an alleyway. Both you and Prov, please give me notice, wisdom or charisma checks.
This is me as well, correct? Notice.
Yeah, you two, not Rain, who is very far away.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure you're referring to us two and not those two. So notice charisma's fine.
Now there's only 3 of you. Those 2 is a lot easier to say.
It's always us two, Scott.
I think my last session I was rolling just like success. I think I lost it this session.
It just like it's the energy, you know. Scott's, you know, a little tired, so.
No,
You
I'm actually
guys
alert.
aren't
I'm
really-
awake. I'm good.
You need to get your big dick energy out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Last week you had the big dick energy. And this
Except for it sort of
not
fell
really yet.
apart at the end of the session when you were talking to her.
That's true.
Turns
I think
out,
it's just a continuation. Yeah.
Big dick energy until you actually talk to a woman.
Oh, wow. Wow, Ian. Jesus.
god damn,
I
murder.
couldn't resist.
That was a more brutal execution than the Roddy minigun. It's whilst they actually go past you, because they start walking into the town more. You're sort of at one of the entryways, there's sort of an archway and a little cargo loader that you're stashed behind. You actually hear as they're going past, either Davis doesn't hear or just isn't focusing. You hear very quietly Prov from the one who's in behind going, you know, there's a bounty out on this guy. And then that's the only bit you hear as they sort of are going past.
They're all 3 of them escorting.
2, but yes.
Okay. I will Assassin's Creed begin my following.
Okay.
Bring out some horrific cigarette. You know, I'm just walking along, having a late night stroll, and I will begin preparing. So how far can I move in a turn?
You can move 10 meters in a turn. Which I believe we discussed before is, when we were making this character, is a reasonable amount if you're following someone who's walking.
Yeah, you can take a move action on the same round as you make an execution. So I will begin prepping my execution attack on the one who said bounty.
Okay.
So is that your trigger word, bounty?
I mean, it
Yeah.
helps. So we discussed this
The one's
before we were
like,
making Neil's
Hi,
character.
I got you a bounty, and they like show me.
Bounty is the worst
and I-
chocolate in, is it Celebrations that they're in? They're the worst.
Foolish Oliver. I'm like a grey squirrel. I've evolved to enjoy them, and now I'm like.
Here's the thing. I love the smell of coconut. Can't abide the taste.
Maybe you should get some coconut cream.
Coconut cream is delicious. Coconut
Or
cream
coconut oil.
in caking, in baking, caking is
Hickey?
great.
I mean, is that it?
It's
is that
not
inaccurate
wrong.
now? I mean, you know, like it's I think it applies.
It does apply. So we discussed this before. Prov's character has a foci that allows them to move before or after they do an assassination attempt, and we discussed that 10 meters is perfectly within a reasonable human's walking speed for a minute, and that's how long you have to prepare an assassination. So all that you have to do for this is a sneak, either Dex or Charisma. Because Charisma would be like you're kind of chill and you're doing the walk. You're saying Dex would be you being a little more sneaky.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold A to Dex. Assassin's Creed 1 style.
Oh no.
It's not bad.
It's actually an okay roll. They're just real lucky. So they're walking, and you can tell that from behind. They're clearly talking, but again, through the masks, you can't hear much. They have to kind of intercom most of it, or outercom, I suppose. After a bit of time, you notice that the one in behind who is still carrying their rifle... Or actually, no. The one behind isn't carrying their rifle. They're carrying Scott's rifle with the shotgun attachment. But they're kind of carrying it, like, in their hand. They got their one like on their shoulder. That's when they actually turn and they're like, I think we're being followed. And that's when both of them stop and actually they turn the flashlights on and they start sweeping. And they do, it's one of those things, they don't see you completely, Prov. They just sort of see your shadow as you duck beside like a sideways. And Davis, you would see this as well, unless you don't turn around, but of course you would.
I would definitely, if they're saying they're being followed, I wouldn't assume it's this guy, but I would definitely be interested in what the hell's happening.
Yeah, exactly. They see a shadow and it's...
Can I make a check to see that it's him?
That would be a notice.
Thank you, sir.
Wisdom or charisma.
Wisdom?
Or charisma.
Oh, charisma works too? No, charisma's better. I'll tell it to charisma.
Because that's the sort of thing, could you tell that was his movement and mannerisms? No.
Shit. Yeah.
One below the minimum, which I was going to allow because it was PCs and PCs.
You're fine.
The one holding the two rifles is like, I'm carrying his gear. You go look. And I was like, okay. Starts walking, and you would have ducked into like a small alleyway, which of course is venting steam and was covered in condensation, and exactly what you would imagine of a sort of grimy mining station side passage. You know, you can hear this. You know he's entering the alley looking for you, and he has a torch or a flashlight on the end of the rifle, and he's sort of pointing it around.
So one boy's entered, yeah.
One boy is entering right now, yeah.
Giggity. I'll wait for him to get a little bit closer, and then I will close the distance and go for the old slit his throat.
Are you going to try and assassinate or just do an attack?
I can't assassinate because I've not spent a minute preparing.
No, I know. I was going. Are you going to wait, or are you just going to do the attack roll?
I mean, if he can spend a minute in there, sure, but I doubt he would spend a minute in there.
So you're
I
gonna
will wait for him to get further in, and then hop up and.
I think that's yeah, cool. I get you. He would keep walking in, and there'd be like cardboard boxes and things that he would kind of like push and move. But you're stealthy enough to hide from him in this moment. Go ahead and give me a melee attack roll, please. A stab check, or stab roll, in fact. Ooh,
yeah.
That is
That's
that is damage. So you do exactly as that. You jump down on this guy and can sort of like, I mean, you go for the neck. You're a neck going kind of guy. You go for the neck on the guy. He turns enough that yeah, you cut his neck, but instead of a deep plunge, it's just this scrape, which of course actually does send a blood splatter across one of these walls. And there's sort of walls that are probably meant to have been white at some point, but they're a sort of faded brownish grey. He actually doesn't die from that, but immediately has to put his arm on his hand on the wound and calls out on the intercom. She's like, I'm under attack. There's someone in here. Go ahead and give me an initiative roll, all three of you. I think I cleared initiative.
Let me
Come on,
check.
initiative check. Why didn't you move at the times? Like,
You want me on initiative, even though I'm like...
no, Rain.
I mean, you did say all three of you.
Yeah, not. I meant the security forces. They were the other part of the three.
Well, he's telling himself, all right.
Yeah, I thought that. You know,
It's,
that's
it's
just how
like
it works.
it's like Rain's like sees the ship, and then suddenly like she looks down, and her stance has changed, and she's like, I did that.
So, Davis, you actually would have been on edge during this whole thing, right?
Of course.
When he goes in and there's a bit of time passed, you probably still don't assume it's Prov, but you hear the intercom coming out, or outcom, as I said before, of he's under attack, and you would also hear the groaning of, you know, the stabbing and the blood splatter, all of that. You're close enough to hear it all. What do you want to do? You are with one guard who is currently holding both rifles, so he's in no position to easily attack. He's going to have to sort of move things around.
But I definitely can't tell that it's Neil's character.
Not without looking into the alleyway. Now it would be quite clear, but you're kind of...
And I have no idea that they were that they know there's a bounty on me or anything like that. So I would honestly say to the guard, I would say, officer.
Hey, my rifle, I can help.
I'd be like, officer, my arms.
You're
I
going to
hold
need
my
to
hand out.
You're going to need to give me a talk check.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's the same
Or
session.
a lead
different session.
check, because you're kind of trying to belong, right? And you're a military officer. I'll allow a lead.
Yeah, so I'll do that, but it's not my ability because it's still the same day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So lead and clicky click. Roll decent. Oh, not bad. Not great, but not
That's
bad.
pretty good. He will reluctantly, like, clearly taking a moment, but, like, I've just got a dice on my face. But, like, his teammates under attack kind of toss the gun to you.
So I'll take the gun, and then I'll also round the corner. With the gun at the ready. I'm going to round the corner to see who's... Unfortunately, it's my shotgun that he gives me, right?
Well, it's
So
the
I
shot.
rou-
It's the combat rifle with the shotgun.
Exactly. So I round the corner holding my two-handed weapon, wishing it was my gun. And I come around. Do I see anything as I I'm not like rushing in.
You
I'm,
would
like,
you would turn,
tactically
and
around the corner.
you're so close to it with a move action. You would turn and you would immediately see it's Prov wrestling with the guy.
Can I make a I don't know if this takes up action or like that. Can I make like a check to understand what the fluff is going on, like a notice charisma or anything, to understand what the hell's going
I
on?
think would be one of those things that would take a second to click, but your character would be able to realize it is Prov rescuing you, but why you wouldn't know. But
I'm improvising.
he's
So-
improvising.
So my character's not unwise. He's just not a very good liar. So he's gonna like see this happening, be confused for a second, and so he's gonna like the other guy's dead, right? Did you kill him, Neil?
He's in
No,
the process
he's still
of
up.
dying.
He's
wrestling.
So
he's not all dead.
I'm gonna say
Only mostly dead.
I'm gonna move forward and be like, stop! I said stop! Stop! And I'm gonna pull the trigger and
Nice.
I'm gonna fire. This is gonna be the combat rifle. I'm gonna pretend like I'm firing at him and hope I hit the guard.
I actually like that a lot.
I like that too.
You do have a minus 2 on this because you are firing into melee.
Oh God, I would love to burst. Unfortunately, that would be really stupid to burst on a situation like this. So I have to do a normal attack roll. Burst
it
would be
would
like-
be. It would be
Like
stupid to burst.
nobody would believe that.
No, yeah. The one careful shot would be.
Oh,
my god!
yeah.
It's 20 and the maximum damage.
Perfect.
Oh.
That's so perfect. I love it. You do the whole thing. You say your spiel. Take the shot. The guy who was his back is facing you. You can see Prov. You probably make eye contact. Neck in his throat, trying to struggle. His bullet taken to the back. He slumps, and Prov can kind of like lay him down properly. The other security force guy still doesn't know what the hell's going.
Nope.
Which is
That
hilarious.
was nice. Fucking hell. 12
his-
damage.
It's his turn next.
Woohoo!
And murder all of us.
And he's gonna say, I heard a body drop, did you get him?
I'm gonna say, like obviously I gave the look to Neil or whatever. I'm gonna be like, help, help, to that guy, get him around the corner.
He will run around the corner, see Prov murdering, laying down the dead guy. Probably not smart enough to put. Actually, he will get a notice charisma check to put this 2 and 2 together. Can't make everyone super stupid. The dice decides how stupid they are.
agree with
And
that.
this guy's keen. He'll start going around the corner. So he's at the doorway of the alleyway, melee range with you, Scott. Stop running when he sees that, and then kind of like turn. Your gun's still like smoking. Click that it's a gunshot wound in the back of this guy, and will immediately. It is a movement action to club up a weapon, so he can't do that.
Does Neil have like some sort of cover or whatever from the dead guy he's holding?
Yeah, but he's not worried about Neil right now. He's worried about you.
I mean,
I don't look as armed as you, to be fair.
Exactly.
I just yelled to the guy, "Help! Help!"
He just made a check to see through that line.
He's a little,
I just yelled to the guy, "Help!
bitch,
Help!"
though.
He's gonna help.
I said to him, "Help!"
This isn't helping.
Yeah, clubbing up is a move action, so he's already moved. So he's only gonna get like a complete unarmed attack against you, where it's not even
Goes
like
to kick you
clubbing
in
up
the
the thing. He's just gonna sort of like shove at you hard. Be like, "What do you think you're doing?" But it's one of the things. He does shove you. It doesn't do any kind of damage to you. You're trained enough in melee combat to handle that. And then next up is Prov.
Guess what? Prov's gonna close that distance and knife this guy in the throat.
Absolutely within one move. Let me check what it is to change weapon for you. In case you would have been able to change weapon. Oh, well, I mean, you already were. So,
I'm happy using the knife.
that's easily, like... So, let me help for this guy. So you run up to this guy, he's shoving, so he's a bit more distracted. Still was paying attention to you, but didn't get into, like, full stance to properly fire back at you. Probably after this shove is starting to aim at you, but you're already, like, close enough. Can just slash at the neck, get this guy down. Look, I know Neil. He's lurking, he's skulking, now he's stabbing. And you stab this guy, and he just falls out of the alley, and then I imagine you drag him in the alley with the rest of your turn. So out of sight, out of mind. That whole little encounter's sorted. With 2 dead security officers. And they're
All right. So when that finishes, I'm gonna turn and look at you, and because of what had just transpired before, I actually level my shotgun at you. I raise it at you, so you're at like the boom boom end of the shotgun, and I say, "You have some answers." I say, "I'm needing answers, and I'm needing them now." And I'm like squaring off, so like you're against the wall, because I make like a half circle around you. So it's nothing but you between me, my gun, and the wall.
Prov like drops back down into like the semi-crouch, still grasping the knife. They said that you had a bounty on your head. I didn't give them the benefit of the doubt, as I know these Novus boys aren't known for being above board, and decided we better get you out of here, Cap.
That sounds like an easy story to pop up with real quick. What the hell happened to that video I saw?
Maybe we can talk about this on the ship.
Or maybe we can talk about this right now. And I take like a half step forward, and like you really like making sure that my finger is on that trigger, not sitting to the side of it.
You shot a guard too, you know.
Yeah, I was trying to pull your ass from the fire, but I saw something that got me a little shaken. Now, maybe you can calm my nerves before I have to put you down.
I'm from New Earth, as you know. We're a pretty peaceful planet. Most of our industry is based around what Mother Earth can provide. Timber. Fresh timber. That's something that real sells good. That's where the money is on New Earth. You can't get wooden furniture on Novus without New Earth. And of course, the pirates know this. And they put a little bit of money in the right hands, a little bit of money in someone else's hands, and that's it. They killed them all. My entire family, my entire village, for the sake of wood. They thought I was dead. They threw me in with everyone else's corpses. I waited until night fell, And then I murdered as many of the bastards as I could and got off that godforsaken planet. And now Novus is out to get me. Now I know a crusader was in on it. I can't go home. I've got nowhere else to turn. My family didn't get buried. They didn't even have a funeral. They're still lying there, rotting.
Partway through that, probably about 2/3 of the way through it, I start lowering my gun down a little bit, like so it's not like aimed at his, upper chest. It's more aimed at like the belly, then a little bit lower to the thigh, and then finally it's like lowered all the way down to the ground. And I'm just like, Jesus fuck. I really hope you're not lying. I kind of hope you are. I don't fucking know. I look down at the bodies and I just say, just get my gun. And I go to the end of the alleyway that we're in and like look both ways to see if the area is clear.
You don't see anyone. You start to see like lights turning on in windows. Obviously there was noise, but no one.
I'll also look to see if there's any security cams, recorders, or anything like that might be in the area.
That would be a notice wisdom check or intelligence, because blowing the layouts of these kind of places where they typically put cameras.
Nope. No, that's lead. Wrong button, boy. This one.
Boy, you're pushing that wrong button. There actually is a camera. It would be down the street you were walking along before you were taken off to this alley. Went down this alley. So they would see you. That camera would have seen you shooting in and the body being dragged away. They wouldn't see any of the actual like stabbing and fighting. Still, you were caught on camera.
Of course. So I see the camera, and I'm like, fuck. I know it's not a closed loop. I know this is going to be something that's going to feed through the entire system. They probably have somebody actively looking at this right now. So I'm just kind of like, fuck. So I'll gesture my head towards where the camera is.
You can also give me a no charisma check, or no wisdom. Sorry.
During this, can I strip out their intercoms?
That's the shittiest no I've made so far.
You're gonna... Yep, sorry. I was gonna give you some common sense, but that's what no wisdom is, but I can't. You can take their helmets. To take the intercoms out of it, that would be a real quick fix check.
I'll go ahead and take the fix check. Just know which bits not to break when I'm tearing it out.
Exactly right.
Fix decks, fiddly bits.
I think that's fine. Easy enough. You tear the important parts out of their helmets to get their intercoms and what. And you can even hear like through them like people being like.
I'll chat one to Davis. Push one in my ear. Do I want to take the wrist-mounted compad?
I nod. I'm gonna do the same, and then I nod my head towards where the camera is, and I say, "They get eyes on us. They had eyes on me." And I look towards the direction which would have your back to the camera. I'm like, that way, quick, and start like moving that way. And I'll actually use my body to block you somewhat, so even if you're walking away, I'm even between you and your backside.
So I'll pull off that wrist-mounted computer.
Mm-hmm. I think that's also fine with that same check.
And then I will take the direction that he says. And as I'm walking along, I'm going to see whether these guys can access the camera mainframe, which I'm presuming is the security guards.
We will check that after a quick break. We'll be back after these non-existent messages.
12 damage.